Welcome to Finance Revealed. Watch the complete video to discover new market secrets. Subscribe now.
What everyone wants to know is price prediction for this year, price prediction for 2030.
My 2021 prediction is still the same as it was on the last day of last year, and that's 220,000 for Bitcoin in 2021. So I'm still holding to that prediction. I'm using this 4-year halving cycle where you see these types of moves, and it's kind of fitting into that scenario right now. Following 2022, let's say getting into the 2023, 2024 period, at the moment, my feeling is that it might not be a great year, actually. We might see more of one of our historic pullback years that I've been through 90% corrections in Bitcoin going back to 2011. We haven't seen, those are very, very damaging, to one's spirit. But nevertheless, for 2021, though, I'm still very, very wildly bullish for 2021. I think we're now starting to see this crossover from the 200-day moving average. You're starting to see the Washington, D.C. experience has shown people that, Washington's actually powerless against this thing. Everyone is hoping, we're going to ban Bitcoin. And they all went there and they had their meetings and they had their votes and they had their sessions. And then Bitcoin, tick-tock, next block. It doesn't stop. And I think people are scratching their head like, wait a minute, you mean the U.S. government really can't stop this thing? I'm going to buy more. So we're seeing the U.S. kind of fail in its attempt to stop it. And that's bullish. And so that's going to offer a lot of price support. The Michael Saylors of the world, he is, he's orange pilling trillions of dollars worth of cash on the sidelines. Michael Saylor is got the best pitch. I'll say that. He's got the best pitch of anybody, which is great because he's got a lot of money and a lot of Bitcoin. So, we've got like Ted Williams, in the batter's box right now. Or Gordie Howe or Wayne Gretzky or whoever you want to use. I'll use a Joe sports analogy because I know he's into sports. But, we've got the Babe Ruth of, pitching, Bitcoin pitchers, there and doing his job. And that means a lot of companies all over the world, the dominoes will fall, just like countries will fall. I think all we need is one other country to announce Bitcoin legal tender in a big way, or one major company with multi-trillion dollars on the assets balance sheet that they're going to go Bitcoin. All we need is one more in 2021, and you're going to see a 40 to 50,000 point dollar gap, in a week.
2030, what's the price prediction? Basically a decade from now.
Again, you get into a different kind of thinking when you look over that period, Pomp, because we're talking about a world where fiat money, as we know it, is no more, and that's a very, very different world. It's a world where you have consensus that's built into the Bitcoin protocol applied to society at large and countries in the world. That's where we're headed. Just a completely different world beyond the price. I think we're getting to a point, and by 2030, I think the last thing people will ever talk about when they talk about Bitcoin is the price, because they'll just be living inside the protocol, so to speak. That protocol, the genius of the incentive model, the protocol, will bring in our society. We all have this kind of, not to get too metaphysical here, but we all live kind of with this common unconscious or combined, the collective unconscious. That's a completely unexplored area. As a human species, we're all one, but we act as if we're different and we're always in contention. Okay, put the perfect consensus protocol into the societal mix of humans and see what happens. And I think we're going to see war and violence completely weeded out of the situation. We're heading to a very loving and peaceful future. That's where we're headed, and within 10 years potentially. So all the prophets from all the ages, going back 1,000 years, who spoke about potential in these terms, they weren't wrong, but they never had Bitcoin.
Max, you're someone who was buying Bitcoin at $1. You said earlier that you continue to buy Bitcoin even at the prices of today, $40,000, $50,000, $60,000. What is something when you look 10, 20, 30, even 100 years down the road, like what is the bear case for you? What is something that keeps you up at night? What could go wrong? What stops total adoption? Is there any scenario where you see Bitcoin doesn't become the global reserve currency?
Here's my bear case, is that humans will become extinct before they realize the benefits of Bitcoin. And let me explain. Nothing's going to stop Bitcoin. You know, it's on its own vector. It was the discovery of absolutely scarce synthetic digital commodity that can only happen once. Everything else but that's not Bitcoin is a security and should be looked at as such. And it's powered in a way that it can now grab that energy from wherever it gets it through solar, etc. It's almost to some degree self-aware to some degree. I don't want to go down too far down that path. But humans on planet Earth seem to be on another path of self-destruction. I mean, humans seem to be really anxious to get into another world war. We seem to be on a course to tragically destroy whatever biosphere we have left. So the humans seem to be really messed up. You know, the bear case is that humans actually go extinct while Bitcoin's still powering forward. That's the bear case. The bear case is that humans never figure out that they can solve the problem that they're experiencing here by adopting a Bitcoin standard. That's the bear case.
Yeah, Max, thanks for doing this. Nice to meet you. So you started learning about Bitcoin around 10 years ago, around a decade ago. Where do you see Bitcoin going in the next 10 years?
Right. I see fiat money. All fiat money for the past 300 years has gone to zero or lost 99% of its purchasing power. See, fiat money has never worked. Now we see something that's come along that's going to eat gold's lunch. So that gold Bitcoin competition is very active. So that means that Bitcoin is going to eclipse gold. That means that it's a 10 to 11 trillion dollar asset, right? So that's a huge move still to come. If you look at the bond market's in horrible shape. It's all 0% and going negative. So you could see a migration out of the bond market. The bond market's a $200 trillion global market. So that money could come into Bitcoin. The total addressable market for planet Earth of stuff that people invest in, property, precious metals, stocks, bonds, etc. It's like $400 trillion. It's enormous. That's the total addressable market of Bitcoin. There's no reason why anyone who is investing in something as a store of value would not want Bitcoin. And there's no way to show that it's not superior to anything out there as a store of value in terms of the penetration that it will make in the market going, the next 5 years. The heavyweight asset over the past several hundred years has been the Ming vase. And as a stockbroker, you'd always hear the story about the best performing asset ever has been the Ming vase. The Ming Dynasty vase has been, compounding at a great rate for 400 years. It's been the heavyweight champion. People still buy the Ming vase. Bitcoin will eclipse the Ming vase. It'll be the champion, heavyweight, compounded annual interest return of any asset ever in the history of the world. It'll outperform the Fabergé egg. It'll outperform the Van Gogh. It'll outperform a Modigliani. It'll outperform everything. And that attract because it's perfect. And so that is going to keeps attracting people into it. It's the black hole of Bitcoin is sucking in every single possible value of anything everywhere. That's where we're heading. And it's unstoppable. It's unconfiscatable. It's uncensorable. It's available. You can still buy it under $100,000 a coin. That's a frickin' bargain.
Cryptocurrency investment. Cathie Wood, Michael Saylor, Lyn Alden, Raoul Pal, Kyosaki, Max Keiser, Orange Pill, Bitcoin Podcast.